Greetings, Cancer and Cancer Rising. This is your Western forecast for September 2024. There are several themes, but the major one is the new moon in Virgo opposite Saturn. The opposite Saturn can indicate a lot of obstacles and challenges and a lot of responsibilities that can really awaken a significant personal growth if you just persevere. This new moon is in Virgo. Virgo is work-oriented, very analytical and detailed-oriented. Virgo is also very health-oriented, of being of service. But this this strong Virgo new moon is in your third house. What that means is that Virgo is 3 signs past Cancer. So everything the third house represents is going to be highlighted. And with the Saturn, could be realizing these limitations that you need to overcome. Now, the third house is the house of communications, of learning, writing, could be focused on selling. The third house can also represent domestic traveling, short distance traveling, going away for the weekend. So there could be a real emphasis on short distance traveling. The third house is where we look to for siblings, relatives in general, but mainly siblings. So there might be some real challenges that you have to confront with a sibling. But for most of you, that third house could be learning new skills, taking a class, and maybe others could be wanting to finally start writing or going back to school. Now, 2 weeks after the new moon is always a full moon on September the 17th. But this full moon is going to be in Pisces, but it's going to be a lunar eclipse. And that's also because 2 weeks after the lunar eclipse on September the 17th, on October the 2nd, 2 weeks later, will be a new moon solar eclipse. So we're entering into the eclipse season, which happens roughly twice a year, where if it impacts your chart, that there could be a lot of new changes, a lot of adjustments, that changes the course of relationships and work as examples. But this full moon lunar eclipse is about bringing things that have been hidden to light. Now, it is aligned with Neptune. Neptune can bring all this creativity, inspiration, spirituality, but it's also being very favorably impacted by Uranus. With Uranus, that could indicate this like sudden breakthrough energies, and maybe through unconventional ways. Maybe a breakthrough came through having an astrology reading. Now, this full moon lunar eclipse that could be impacting you for a while is in your 9th house, which is opposite the new moon, which is in the 3rd house. So 3rd house, 9th house, they're opposite, the 2 sides of the same coin. And so that 9th house can have a lot to do with higher education, teaching, publishing, marketing, especially if you're deciding to write a book or write articles, do a lot of writing content for social media. The 9th house would then be, let's now start publishing it. Or the 3rd house, you started to really start to feel the limitations that Saturn with your education. How, you need more, you want to have more jobs, better job skills to make more money. And as we get to the lunar eclipse, it might be putting a real spotlight on you needing more, desiring more professional training, or finally deciding to finish that college degree or go back and get a graduate degree. Ninth house is international travel. You might be making a lot of plans with the new moon in the third house of all this planning and traveling, and then go, and finally go overseas, go abroad. Now, before I get into the other important themes, and I'll connect them all together, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find direct links to book and astrology reading, or check out my 2-question offer. Mars is a 2-year cycle. Mars is the warrior planet in mythology. Mars is where we initiate new activity, we take the lead, where we're aggressive, ambitious, where we could be in the fighting spirit. Sometimes that Mars can, be too much impulsiveness, creating injuries, because Mars can deal cuts and bruises and pain when we're talking about the body with Mars. Mars is a 2-year cycle. Mars is going into Cancer, your sign or rising sign, September the 4th, for 2 months to November the 3rd. So the Mars in your sign means that it's in your first house. Because if you have a Cancer rising, the rising is just the sign beginning of the first house. Or Cancer, and if we're just looking at your sun, then here's Mars in the sign of your sun, starting a whole new cycle. So the first house is about new beginnings, initiating, with Mars really initiating new ventures, new projects, being very ambitious, very assertive. And with that main third house, and then the full moon lunar eclipse, part of what you could be becoming really ambitious about could be media, marketing, publishing, or going back to school to get a higher degree to be able to make more money. The other theme that I'll tie in with all of this is Venus. Venus is the planet of love, creativity, and beauty. Venus is that planet of desire. Venus goes through all the signs once a year. The first 3 weeks of September just happens to be in Libra. Libra is the sign ruled by Venus, meaning that Venus is at home in Libra. Venus does its best. It's more confident when it travels and transits through Libra. Libra is 4 signs past Cancer. So what you're enjoying and desiring is the 4th house, home, family, property. One of the things with that Venus in the 4th house could be beautifying your home, buying art, buying new furniture, repainting the walls, a lot of redecoration with Venus. But Venus is also entertainment, and with the 4th house of family, you may be entertaining at your home, or you could be taking the family on to entertainment venues or on a holiday. Now, but the 4th house can also be dealing with real estate, or anything that deals with property and land. And Mars in the first house for the next 2 months is compelling you to take risks, go into new ventures. And with the Venus, there might be this desire, this enjoyment to be looking at, well, maybe remodeling your home, redecorating your home, or going into a real estate business. Now, Venus is just there the first 3 weeks, but this 4th house is a strong emphasis because the sun is in Virgo the first 3 weeks. Wherever the sun is shining is where our priorities, our attention is most drawn to. And as I said, Virgo is in the 3rd from Cancer. And so the first 3 weeks, that 3rd house of learning and selling and communications is really strong. But it doesn't go away on September the 22nd when the sun leaves Virgo and goes into Libra, because that new moon is strong until October the 2nd. Now, the sun, when it leaves the 3rd house on September the 22nd, it is going into Libra, into your 4th house for 4 weeks, as it does that every year. So as enjoyable, pleasurable Venus is leaving the sector of home, family, and real estate on September the 22nd, same day now the sun is putting a real emphasis and spotlight on home, family, and real estate. But with that 3rd house, 9th house axis, you could be learning about real estate, could be learning about construction and remodeling and land or gardening. You could be learning about all of that. But I also said that the 3rd house could be short distance traveling, the 9th house long distance traveling. That Mars, you're being really assertive, and with the Venus in the 4th of family, and then the sun at the end of the month going into the 4th of family. This could also be very favorable for taking the family on a trip, and so there's a lot of this education, learning new job skills. It could even be around remodeling the home, beautifying the home. But that 4th house of Venus and the sun could certainly be dealing with family. And the 3rd house can be dealing with siblings. So you might be desiring, with that Venus in Libra and the sun in Libra, that's bringing more harmony, more diplomacy, more mediation, more resolution to, if there are having in the family, there was any kind of discord with siblings. And I only bring up the discord because we all hear about sibling rivalry, but the new moon is opposite Saturn. Opposite is having to deal with outside circumstances, and with Saturn could be having to take on a lot of responsibilities, facing your limitations, and this can really bring a lot of personal growth, because that Saturn can be very persevering and resilient, and that could be from learning to selling to dealing with family matters because of the 4th house, and really maybe healing sibling rivalry. The full moon lunar eclipse, there's often a bit of letting go and separation, especially with the Neptune, which brings a lot of insights and revelations. But Neptune rules Pisces, the full moon lunar eclipse is in Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So all of that is major emphasis for a lot of people, because we're talking about the world. That 12th house can have a lot to do with letting go and the release of old stuck patterns. Now that could be in a relationship, and it could be with family members. But that Mars, back to Mars and Cancer in the first house, this is you feeling more courageous, taking action. And I'm thinking this could be, which makes the most sense for maybe the majority of you, is getting more education. Or the flip side of getting more education is teaching. But teaching can mean publishing and marketing. And if you're trying, and if you could also be promoting your business online with that full moon lunar eclipse in the 9th house of the media, publishing, and marketing. But with that Mars, you're taking a risk to do something all new. And there's a lot of this learning. So maybe you're going into a new career direction or a new job situation, and there's a lot to learn. And it's also possible with the Venus and the Sun in the 4th, yes, you could be beautifying your home, entertaining your family, entertaining the neighbors at your home. But what if a great job opportunity came up in another city? And then that could be this relocating to another place. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.go. That's .co. Until next month, be safe and well.